Hey, it's Karen from Liongate Farm, and today I'm going to teach you a dual thing. I'm going to teach you how to wet felt a styrofoam ball so that you can make cool little ornaments. You don't have to make a bear, but I'm going to show you how to make these little polar bears on there, and it will be really, really fun. Okay, so we are going to wet felt this core wool. There's a ½ ounce onto this 3-inch styrofoam ball. So I'm going to go over the sink now and show you how to wrap it, and then we'll get started. So you're just going to take an end. Oh yeah, welcome to my kitchen. You're just going to take an end and you're going to wrap it, making sure that your edges overlap each other. It's kind of like felting a soap, only we're doing the ball. And a ½ ounce might be overkill, but I want you guys to make sure that you get good coverage. All right, so we have one ball. Oh, you know what? We paused for a second because I realized you guys didn't want to listen to my water running. So when I do this, I leave the water running. This is super hot water. And what I did is after I wrapped it, now I'm holding it in the water. And it's pretty soaked, so I'm gonna get a little soap. If you've ever felted soaps before, they kind of work with you because there's soap under the ball. Styrofoam balls do not work with you. So I'm getting soap onto the ball. We're trying to get it wet right now. If your hands are sensitive to water, like hot water, you're gonna want to, and you're gonna start squeezing it. You're gonna wanna wear gloves. When I felt soaps, I do like 12 at a time. I wear gloves. Today I'm not wearing gloves. You know, sometimes I forget to put them on. In this sink, we have ice cold water, and this is pretty hot. So the key to felting this down is going to be keep it nice and wet. And we're just squeezing. You can toss it back and forth. You don't want to rub it yet because that will create wrinkles. So the whole idea is to get this wool, like when you put your sweater in the washer, or when you're using a felting needle, to combine with itself and shrink. It's going to take us like 20 minutes. I don't know, did it take us that long last time, Kenan?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay, so I soaked it in the cold water to shock those fibers. So going hot to cold will shock the fibers and shrink it down. And you just keep doing this, and amazingly, you might have to add more soap, because like I said, it's not a felted soap. It doesn't work with you. And I'm just using Dawn. Actually, I think it's Kirkland brand, if you must know, which I don't like as much as Dawn. This is a really good thing to do, like after you've been gardening. Your hands end up really clean if you're not wearing gloves. Now I got way too much soap, so let's cool him off a little bit. I also put a lot of fiber on here. So what we're doing basically is building a base for you to make an ornament, a lightweight ornament, because jar balls are just so heavy. Building a base to make a lightweight ornament. And this way, with the base on here, you can stab into it without breaking down the ball. I don't particularly like styrofoam. It's not very environmentally friendly. You can see I'm carefully trying not to make any wrinkles. But I can feel it starting to felt. I don't know if you can tell. It's starting to shrink down. Let's let it get nice and hot. And now we're going to let it get nice and cold. Sometimes I put ice cubes in my water. That makes things go faster. We're going to get hot again. But the temperature change plus the agitation of the fibers will make this shrink down. So a lot of you probably use dryer balls. This is not the method I use to make dryer balls. Dryer balls I do in the washer. And they're all solid wool. You can see it's still wrinkling up. but it's starting to get tighter already. Got way too much soap going on. That's okay. But because we wrapped it at different directions, you know, we went around, and core wool is not lined up. Now, if you're using a merino that's all like a top, that's all in a line, you might have a little bit more trouble. It's also not as thick as core wool. Rip is sounding very happy behind us. I don't know why. Can you see that it's starting to felt? See how this is all becoming one piece? But now we just need it to shrink to the ball, which it's starting to do. I can feel it. Doesn't take a super long time. You know, we lost this video the first time. We're not going to lose it again. Hey, at least the sun's out today. Now, if you do get a wrinkle, don't worry too much about it because we're gonna, or a space, don't worry too much about it because it will come out. I'm gonna toss it back and forth. So in felting, when wet felting, when you're working on an item, this is called fulling, when you're smacking it against something. I hope I'm not getting you wet. And that helps it shrink, believe it or not. Helps it shrink down to whack it on something. Like if you're doing if they do wet felted garments or purses, you whack it on the table. But can you see how it's all becoming one piece? Hairy piece, but it is working. See, it's all becoming one. I still have quite a bit of soap in there. It's getting tighter. It's starting to felt big time. And you'll know it's done when you go into the water and it doesn't pull away from the ball. It's like solid to the ball. Is it solid to the ball? No, but it's just shrunk around the ball. Okay, I've been working on this for about 10 minutes, Cannon says. I did resort to some super hot water, which is why my hands are red. Sorry about that. But you can see it is felted to the ball. It's a little bit loose, but as it dries, it will shrink down to the ball. Don't worry about it being hairy. We will take care of that when we cover it. Okay, so let's go to the table. All right, so we have felted our ball and you let it dry. Please let your ball dry because otherwise you can rust out your needles. Who knew, right? But it doesn't take very long for them to dry, but you can see, got this nice light ball. So we are going to felt this little bear, this little bear, cover it, put in a little topper. I have that style and I have this style. See, I put these little bells, this little bow, and I had this funny little tree trim, but little snowflakes. So let's get started. And I always start with the bottom color. Well, actually today I'm gonna teach you to do something different. Okay, we need to know where the top of the ball is. You can mark it. So this is gonna be the top of my ball. I'm using a water erasable pen. And then you wanna estimate where the bottom of your ball is. And then kind of make a line around. And the reason I'm having you do this, because you can get off center. Ask me how I know. Most of my life is off center, but that's a whole nother story. Right? So I am using, this is called water, very aptly. We are going to make some water for our polar bears. So we're going to find, you got the top, you got your bottom, hopefully that they're the same. And we're not going to stab straight in, straight out. Well, we are, but we're going to stab sideways into the wool that we just put on, not into the styrofoam. So your straight in, straight out is a little bit different because you're kind of going up and down, or whatever way is comfortable for you, as long as you're going straight in, straight out, not into the styrofoam. I haven't made one this color. So you're just going to follow your line around. Now remember I said don't worry if you have loose spots. See, I have this little loose spot, and I could sit and connect it, but I'm not gonna because it will connect when I add this. Yeah, so this is Watercolor Water by DHG. I like this color. This is a redo of a video we did, what, in November? When did we do this one, Cannon?
December.
It was December?
Beginning of December.
Cannon had the great phone implosion.
I lost the video.
Lost it, totally. Happens. Technical glitches. Technical glitches. I wonder where John went. We kicked him out. I have a little piece of something in there. So I like to get it all kind of just poked on a little bit. Now, you don't have to do a polar bear. You can do whatever you want. I'm just showing you how I do my polar bears. And yes, we realize it's after Christmas. And Cannon said, what are people going to do with ornaments after Christmas? See, I don't know how much of this he edits out. And I said, well, at least they're going to know how to do it now. I got the shop all rearranged for spring. Took me a bit. I got the balls all restocked. Took 2 days. I have some new colors coming that are kind of fun. We'll see if they felt well. All right, so I have that color on. Put this aside. That one color is on now. We're going to put... I am going to do something different here. I am going to make a little green spot right here, so I know where the top is. That's where I'm going to attach my hanger once I get to it. Okay, so then I'm using a color called Touareg by DHG. And because these are bats, they felt super fast. Super, super fast. You know, occasionally you're going to find yourself accidentally going into the ball. Don't worry about it. You can use a pen tool. It will go faster. I do that after I get everything on. And remember, your goal here is just to cover up your core wool. I did one with Christmas trees on it. And ever since then, I've drawn a line because I got way off center. Way off center. It was kind of fun. It ended up being okay, but it was like not what I was really going for. But like I always tell you guys, you're the only one who knows what it was really supposed to look like. And the end product looked okay, so I didn't worry about it. It was kind of fun though. So I know we started with a 3-inch ball, but it's going to end up almost 4 inches by the time we're done, depending on how much core wool you put on your ball. You know, here in the Pacific Northwest, most people go out and cut down a pine tree, and they will not support a heavy ornament like your trees that are grown on a lot. Okay, so now our job is to firm this up. And I'm just going to work quickly around the ball. I had some new x-rays yesterday, Cannon. I saw the test results come in. Yeah. My neck is like 100% fused now. It's like, oh, nice.
Is that good or bad? Like, fused?
Fused, like it's stuck. It's really stuck. There ain't no coming back from it.
That means you just can't turn it certain ways?
Up and down, flex, extend, no flex, extend. I've been seeing this x-ray tech so much that she knows me. And she's like, well, I guess you're never going to see that part of your body again. I'm like, nope. I said, and man, zippers are hard. Zippers are really, really hard. A lot of things I have to do by feel. But this is just how it's going to be. So we're going to go around this ball, and we're going to firm it up until it, just like when we were wet felting the ball on, until it all conforms to the ball and it's nice and smooth. It's probably going to take about a half an hour for you. Or, you know, and remember, it's no rush. You can go at your own pace. There is no race to be won by making yourself go fast. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. I got this mostly smoothed out. Obviously, you know, I always go back and work on them some more. Just go till it's nice and smooth. And now we're going to put our little bears on. Aren't these the cutest little guys? So, I wing it. When I design these, I'm going to kind of put this here so you can see. Here, let's use this guy. Let me see if I can tack him on here with one of these. I'm going to go through the ball into the pad. Okay. So, my water on there was littler. Doesn't matter. So, I kind of wing it, you know, with my bear shapes. I just know that the big bear needs to come up here. And you're going to kind of make a C. And you don't want him to go too low. So hold it up and look at it, because you know where the top of your ball is because of the dot you put up there. And again, you're not stabbing straight in. Although here you can start to stab a little bit this way because we've got we've got 2 layers. You're working on a 3rd layer here on top of the styrofoam, and it takes, you know, a good poke to get it down into the styrofoam. So I'm stabbing around the edge. So the first thing I want to do is take this up, and I think his nose should go to here today. Decide where your nose is going to end. And then I need a little bit more white. This is going to be his nose. You don't want it to be too thick. I'm trying to think what the shape reminds me of. And then we're going to come to about right here. If you have dressmaker's chalk in white, or a white pen. I mean, because this is a pretty simple shape that we're doing here. And we're going to turn it into a bear. You know, decide how thin you want it. So his neck's going to come to there. And then I'm just going to, it's kind of like a teardrop and a teardrop. And we're just going to do this. Notice I'm stabbing from the outside towards the inside, and it's building it up 3D along here. So the first bear is going to be like that. And then let's just get him on here. And you're not going to leave him all fuzzy like this. We're going to felt this in. I go forward, I come back. That's how I felt on these balls. If you choose a complicated design that has a lot of lines, it might be kind of hard. I mean, it's doable, but it might be kind of hard. Again, I'm felting along the edge to catch any stray fibers because you know I have that pet peeve about fibers in the dark colors. And you can see here, I'm not in the styrofoam. I'm just in the wool. My job right now is to get this fluff all solidified. Kind of like tucking it, you're tucking it in. And if you tuck along this edge, it gives you this nice sharp edge. And we'll just get this all tucked in. I'm going to go a little faster now. Maintain that teardrop shape. That's your whole bear right there. So we know he's going to have a leg right in there. I gotta move this one out of my way. There we go. I have a friend who did 30 of these different things. She did everything you can think of. Cardinals, gingerbread houses, gingerbread men, everything. You could do these for spring with little birds on them. You could do them for Valentine's with hearts on them. If you are uncomfortable attaching the bear the way I'm doing it now, you could build the bear on your felting pad and then attach him. I just find it easier just to work on the ball, because then you know where he's going to end up. You can see it's all starting to come together for the first bear. You can hear my needle skating across the top of the styrofoam, but it's not going into it. If you tried to build this by poking straight in, so he needs a leg. So now I am going to poke straight in, but I'm not going very deep. We're going to put his little leg right there. And then we're going to go. Because we want it to sculpt in. And we know his eyeball is going to end up like right about there. It's a pretty simple little design. Take a little tiny bit of black. Still working sideways. Don't stab your finger trying to get your eyeball on. Now the nose, I do the whole, almost the whole end of the nose. So I'm going to take a little piece and I'm going to make a little roll. And I'm going to start putting it on, gathering it up. We want it to just be on the end. So it seemed like I had a lot, but I'm pulling it all forward. I just like him to have a big nose. Remember, this is whimsical. This is in no way meant to look realistic on my end. So if you're watching the video and you've made it this far, make sure you click like. Just move your little computer arrow over there and go like. It really helps us out. Without you guys, we are nothing. It also lets us know you're watching. And if you need supplies, just head over to liongate.org. Click on the farm store. I've started fibering again, and things are being added every day. Today I added some gorgeous Wensleydale locks. Gorgeous. Now, if you remember my trick for making a little ear on a bear, got a skewer, we're just gonna make a little tiny tube. Make a little tube, and let's work on the felting pad for a second. I just want to make sure he's not going to come apart on me. And then your little ear, take that little tube, goes back here behind the eyeball. We'll stab it in. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, head over to Facebook and join the Facebook group. You can access it through my Liongate Farm page. We're little, but it's really fun to share your creations, and they don't have to be something I taught you how to make. Share, share, share. It's a safe place. If you need help, we can all help you. I will not tolerate bashing of anybody. And then poke the inside. I will add a little bit of blush to that. So if you want, you can build up his little jaw just a little bit to give it some differentiation from the rest of his body. Just like where his neck would be. Heck, you could even give him a little bow. Like a little teeny ribbon bow. You could glue it on there. That would be cute. See, things that I think of. Now let's add the little bear. So the little bear overlaps the big bear just a hair. But this is almost a total teardrop. Almost. So you just need a piece of wool, picking the stuff out of this. And we know that it's going to overlap this bear. But if you think teardrop shape, I will pull all that wool in. And it comes below the jaw. You've got like a little bit of blue to show. 3/4 of an inch to a 1/2 an inch right there. You could make this into a spring scene too with greens. I'm tucking. I'm taking my needle, using it as a tool like you shouldn't. I'm trying to tuck that in to make my teardrop. Because the little bear has a little bottom jaw. But same concept. And then we're going to work all this wool in towards the middle. Cannon, there's good chocolate in there. No, or is there any in there?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know where the good chocolate is.
I know where the stash is at.
He knows where the stash. We're not having a live sale at the end of the month for January. I just can't get it together. But we will be back in February with our live sale stuff with new dyed locks. Funny story. So, you guys know I was in a halo for a long time and I couldn't really do anything except sit in front of the computer. And one of my suppliers must have been having a sale because I was organizing and I came across this box and I'm like, what is in this box? Turns out I bought it when I was in my halo. So it's like a drug-induced, purchase. 12 pounds of roving of merino, and it's merino, oh my gosh, what's the other breed? Targhee. Super soft, merino Targhee roving. And pulled the receipt out. It's from 2022. I'm like, well, guess I got some work cut out for me here. It's kind of funny. I don't know how I lost that box. I don't even remember buying that box. So, word to the wise is, if you're on painkillers, etc., don't be shopping for wool. Because you might lose the box. You can see I'm just kind of sculpting as I go. And we're going to make, remember his arm is there. And we need this. He's almost round right here, and I got a little divot I need to fill in. Like I said, I can almost stab straight in and straight out now because I have such a large amount of layers on this ball. I'm still working sideways, it works faster. And I want this edge here to be nice and clean. If you felted him on your pad and then you're attaching him, you would attach him the same way that I am attaching this wool from the sides. I might need to add a little bit more wool right there. Is it cold in here, Cannon?
I'm just cold because I'm drinking an iced coffee.
Oh, iced coffee when it's freezing cold outside. Yeah. So let's find our little bear's smile. There. His nose is going to be up higher. Need a little bit more wool on the head because I can see blue. I don't know if you guys can. I can see the navy blue through there. His nose goes straight up in the air because, you know, they're looking at the sky. This almost sounds like you're working on a foam pad rather than, you know, the old-fashioned foam kind. All right, so I'm going to take a little roll. I'm going to make his nose first. Before I put on his eye. I have so much gardening chores to do, Cannon. Oh my gosh. Some major ones I need John's help with. Like cutting down trees.
Dang.
We need to pull that ugly bush out in front of the guest house. It's ugly. It's been driving me crazy. So his eye's gonna go. You got his smile right here. Let's put a couple threads of black in there, a couple fibers. Be very particular if you're making the bear. You don't want black fibers in your white. Just as tacky. Just take your time. Details, details, details. And his eye goes about right here. Nice chunky little bear. I like to gather my fibers up with my needle to ensure that they're not going to be in the white. I made his eye too big, I think. So I'm just going to poke it small. I actually poked it into the styrofoam. Getting better. Okay, same technique for his ear. Just make a little tube, spin it in your hands. That way it solidifies it. And then his little ear goes back behind his eye. Back here. I really like the ear technique for these kind of ears. And I don't remember where I learned it. I just learned it somewhere and it works really good. But kudos to whoever I learned it from. And then I take a little piece and put it over the top. Let's blend it all in. See, and I think his eye is too big, so I'm going to add some over his eye. Remember, I said I'm going to have to add some white right here because I can see blue. So you can continue to build up whatever you feel like needs built up. You can even give him a little tail if you want. Let's give this guy a little tail for fun. You know, do that last. Put a little tail on last. That way you can see where it really goes. Just a short little tail. I thought the sun was coming out, Cannon. I don't think it did. At least it's not raining. You guys have no idea how excited we are for it to not be raining. My sheep barn needs to dry out. I have some soggy sheep out there. I had one little sheep catch pneumonia and I treated her, and then her sister came down with it. It's like, guys. It happens in weather like this. Sheep are very susceptible to respiratory issues. But there's a magic shot called Nuflor that will just take care of that in one little shot, usually. The key is to notice the symptoms. And the biggest symptom for a sick sheep is they're not eating, because sheep eat all the time. And there we have it. Look at that. Is that the cutest thing? So I will honestly sit and poke on this guy for a while to get him all tight. Oh, we're not done. We're not done. All right, now you have a little hanger. I have this little hanger here. I have a little piece of silver stuff. And I'm going to show you a cheat way to put it on. So I am going to felt through it. You can always thread a twine up through the bottom. That's a pain. You gotta have a nice long needle. This way, if you just thread through it, and then you'll know what they look like. So then we're going to go up. And I'm going to take another little piece of green. So you don't have to use green. You could use any color you want. Any color. And I'm going to wrap it around. It's going to look like an ornament hanger when we're done. Isn't it amazing how just little pieces of fluff can turn into something? My needle doesn't like to go through that silver stuff. The beginning of the year. If there's really something you want to see us make, message me. I mean, like really, 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 really want. I know I've got a lot of ideas for our live felt for next week. And if you haven't entered the giveaway, again, like and follow the video or the YouTube and go to liongate.org and subscribe. Enter the contest. There's a page for the contest. And we're giving away a little sheep every month. Cannon already posted what the sheep's going to look like. He's really cute.
I want to keep him for myself.
Well, you could. I could make another one. It's my handmade sheeps. My signature sheep, a sheep I do not teach ever because it's the one that started it all. So the only other thing I would do to this ball is I would go through and add little, you don't have to. This one doesn't have any snowflakes. This one does. Just go through and just add little bits of white snowflakes around and tie a little bow around that and maybe add some bells if you want. It's all up to you. I can't wait to see you guys post what you make. And then I put a little blush. If you hand me the blush, I can put it on. Okay, so we're gonna just put a little blush on his cheeks. I put it inside the ear. To me, this makes it. You know, something else, if it is a Christmas ornament you're doing, you can take a little clear, sparkly paint stuff, like gel paint, and put it over the blush, which makes them all sparkly then. And there you have it. One needle felted, wet felted, lightweight Christmas ornament for whatever you need them for. Or it could be Valentine's, or it could be anything.